Hi, Cara. We
Hi, how are you?
not too bad. We haven't
Can you hear
spoken in.
me okay in my nifty thing?
Yeah, I can hear you really good. Are you able to
Good,
hear
isn't
me
it
okay?
great?
As I
I
disappear
can hear
and
you.
okay.
Oh, there you are. I lost you for a minute there, but that's okay. It's all good now.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been finding our internet's been really lagging up here in the Muskoka region. It's been like normally it's
Yes.
slow, right? But it's abnormally slower this
Right.
time.
What I think is like it's whether it's your phone internet or if it's like satellite internet, which we already know like isn't great.
Yeah.
Do you get like real internet at your house? Because I don't. It's like
Yes.
my part of the I don't. I get
Yeah.
like real internet, like, but not real internet, like, like the fast internet.
It's crazy, and like we get like the old school regular like wired internet here, but every time we call and complain that it's too slow, they're like, well, you have the fiber optic in your area, and we're like, yeah, no, it's at the highway.
Yeah,
So if you live on the highway you can get it, but
yeah.
if you don't, you have to. So it's
We
really
don't.
yeah,
The
but
school gets it. I think the school near you does get it. But
probably
like we got to switch this up. There's a lot of business owners in this area, like unbelievable, like with barns next to them and stuff, that are like working from home and we need this. We
yeah.
need good internet, people.
I know, but it comes at a cost, Cara, because my concern is
I
that
know.
they're going to give us the number with the G type internet, which we don't want.
Oh, I know it. 5G.
So,
5G.
yeah,
You've got to fill me in. I have not been keeping up. I haven't. I have been
it's
miserable. No,
yeah.
I have been
Well,
miserable.
it's been a rough couple weeks, right? Like energetically and
Ugh.
world-wise and personally for mine.
Ugh.
Everyone I talk to is like really down in the dumps for the most part. That's why I wanted to talk to you because I
Yeah.
was like, you and I always have a good time talking. So, and I don't know about you, but like I've been following this group of people on YouTube who are like totally my kind of people, like just completely weird, talking about time travel and battling
Yeah.
mermaids and stuff. But they're just laughing
Oh,
for
mermaids.
2 hours, and I'm like, I can't understand half of what they're saying because of their accents, but the laughter is
But
like that's what I want. That's I think
laughter is universal.
yeah, exactly, right? So tell me what's going on. How are you?
I don't even know where to begin. Like, I mean, I feel crazy. You know what I mean? Like, I feel a little bit like, I think all of us do feel crazy right now because this is just weird. This whole situation is weird. My friend just came back from Cuba, and thank God, I thought he was going to be detained at the airport. He wasn't, amazingly, because he's the kind of guy that would just be like, "Yeah, I'm not quarantining. Like, I'm not. Like, you can put me in jail, but I'm not. Like, I refuse." Like, he's my kind of people. He's like, but at the end of the day, like I'm the kind of person that's like, you know what, just friggin' quarantine. But if it's gonna cost like 2 grand, just to get hotels for 2 weeks, I don't even know what to say. I don't know. Like the travel industry is I won't cry in this show. I'm gonna try not to, but
Like you do.
it's been rough. It's been rough. It's like I don't know what to do, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm at the point where it's like, and I mean, I even put out resumes to other places, and yeah, just to get some sort of extra income, because Serb isn't going to work for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's working so far, but it's not going to work in the long term if this keeps on going. Like,
Yeah,
and
it's only
Kevin's
for
in
short
school,
term.
Kevin is in school, and I don't want to stress him out because
Mm.
school's important, and whatever, he ends up doing with that. And Kevin turned 50.
Oh wow. Happy birthday,
He
Kevin.
is the 50. He robbed the cradle.
He
I'm
probably
only
still
20,
looks like
so it's
he's
like
30, right?
You know what? There's something to say when you don't drink alcohol.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I haven't had alcohol in 13 years, and I still look a bit like a mess because I've had, I did a lot to my body. But at the end of the day, you know what? I stopped, like, when I stopped drinking, I feel like my body was like, thank God. Like,
Hmm.
not just society, my body itself was like, ugh. Like, imagine what it's like right now for addicts and alcoholics that are at home right now that might not be able to afford internet,
Hmm.
or like they're prioritizing over their internet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would not be on here at all before, like 13 years ago. I would not, because I wouldn't be able to afford it. I'd prioritize. I'd be
Hmm.
like, I love you, Jen, but I like beer. Well, I
Yeah.
don't like beer. I liked wine, but you know what I mean? So I'm really worried about people that are at home, like that are not mentally well. Like
Hmm.
human beings, we're all a little bit like we need to have each other, even though we don't all really want it.
Hmm.
I kind of like isolation,
Yeah. I
but
have my moments too.
yeah, like I feel, and the weirdest part about this though is the company I'm working with right now. Not the weirdest part is that they're really helping me out. So I feel like I just feel like it's going to be different. That's all. I'm not giving up. I am not giving up because
Hmm.
I want people to travel with me. With me, I want to travel with people. I'm not going to be at home all the time. I'm going to be traveling, even though I have 1,000 animals.
Yeah. And just to fill in people who maybe are like new to our channel, our is a travel agent. It's just you're an independent
Yes,
travel.
just in case.
So it's been, yeah. So if you're booking travel, we'll share her info. Um, call her up. But she's also talking about her experience, moving through the pandemic. Being a travel agent's not an easy thing, and you and I kind of work in
No,
similar industries.
being a
So
travel agent and also being a recovering alcoholic and
mhm,
other things. I mean, and I have a lot of, I mean, I'm just being honest. Like,
yeah.
we all have issues. Every single person on this planet has issues. I know many people that do know me. They're like, yeah, Car definitely has fucking issues. Can you swear on YouTube? But anyways,
Yeah, as far as
but
I can
like
tell.
we all do. But we all do. We all have issues. It's
Hmm.
just like we can't leave each other in the. I love my friend Shell, and she wouldn't care if I said this because she's like the kind of person that like she plans to get together with people.
Yeah.
You're the same way. I am not. I suck at that. But I'm trying to get like to the point where, oh, you guys want to do something? I don't know what to do. Like it's just my it's just my awkwardness. But
I call it
anyways,
majestically awkward. That's always been my goal. Like
ugh,
I'm just going to embrace the fact that I'm awkward, but we'll make it a
yeah.
majestic awkwardness.
That's right. Or like a person, like I'm the kind of person that laughs at like the most inappropriate things. And
Yeah.
mainly it's because like it's an awkward laugh. Like that's all it is. Kevin goes, you know what he said to me? This was crazy. He goes, you know, sometimes when you laugh, I'm sad. I'm like, why? He goes, because I know that you're sad. I'm
Mhm.
like, are you trying to make this worse for me? Like, what are you doing, right? Like, but he's just pointing it out, right?
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of times we all have to be careful about how we treat other people because it doesn't mean that like I'm laughing at you. It
Hmm.
like no, it's an awkward laugh. And
Yeah.
guess what? I'm not fucking changing it. Like it's me. So that's how I think. It's me. That's it,
I think it's an important
right?
point to bring up, right? Because a lot of people, when they're going through difficult emotions, whether it's depression or sadness or grief or whatever, some of us just those emotions just kind of flow flow out. And then for others of us, we try to mask them. Like we try to look okay, we try to joke around, and even just look at Robin Williams, right? And now we
Mhm.
probably all know there's probably a lot more to his story than we realize, but that kind of
Mhm.
archetype of being sad but focusing on trying to keep people laughing and keep people
Because
smiling.
we hurt, right? If you understand the thing that I love the most to do is make people laugh.
Hmm.
Like honestly, if I could get on stage and be a comedian and not laugh and piss my pants, because I'm at the age now where like I literally pee a
Yeah.
little bit every time I laugh. I might need to go to the doctor. I don't know. But or if I cough or sneeze or whatever, it's just coming to be that way.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know where I was going with that because yeah, now I really do have to go to the doctor when I think about it. It's just getting
But no,
worse. Every
more
woman on earth knows
exercises.
this.
You could
Yeah,
do Kegels
Kegels.
right now, right?
Remember I asked you? Do you remember when I asked you what a Kegel was?
Yes, I do.
And I'm like, now you know, guys, now you know why I pee myself when I cough.
It's
You
all
need to
good.
do your Kegels, okay?
It's
It's
all
all
good.
good. Just make sure you do your Kegels. But anyways, yeah, so yeah, yoga I'm missing a lot
Yeah.
too.
Well, I think everybody's
What it,
missing movement and freedom,
well,
being outside the house.
I have like my gym equipment in my living room. And
Mhm.
it's like, a little, do I use it all the time? I do actually, surprisingly. But more like sporadically. Like, I'll get up and I'll do like a yoga, you could picture this totally, right?
Yeah.
Me dancing and doing yoga
Yeah.
around my house, just like not even doing it properly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. It's my
Yeah.
release.
It needs to be fun. Otherwise, why are you torturing yourself further?
Right. Right.
Right?
No, it's I have been eating a lot of sugar. I don't know, but it's like my
Yeah.
comfort thing right now.
Yeah. I know chocolate and sugar have been a challenge,
My
especially here,
friend.
right? Because like where we are, we're locked down a little bit more in Ontario than other places, even in Canada, because we've been in this like
Yeah.
stay-at-home order, which sounds ridiculous. Like I'm laughing. It's not funny. It's we're laughing because what else do you have to do, right?
See, it's like laughing. It's an awkward laugh. I taught you well.
Well, but it's because part of it's because it all seems so bizarre too. Like it. Sometimes I wake up and I'm like, oh, I woke up in this dimension again. Oh yeah, I forgot. It's like it's so crazy to be
I
here.
feel like I wrote something down that was like, well, because you know how I write. Well, no, you don't. But anyways, I've been writing things that have been coming to my mind when they don't make sense to me,
Yeah,
right? And I actually started freeform writing.
good.
And, like, I know, but I'm not, it doesn't, basically, I should get what I wrote. It
Yeah,
is pretty crazy, but it sounds creepy. I hope nobody, well, then again, how many followers do we have on this show? Like one?
probably like one. Nobody's popped on
So
yet.
it's okay.
Right now, it's just you and I. You remember that song "Dancing by Yourself"? That
Yeah.
used to be my favorite, like
Woo!
dance at home song by myself.
Let me grab it. Hold
Okay,
on,
go
because
grab
this
it.
will disconnect. So I'm gonna.
Yeah, I'll wait for you. I love it. For those of you who, if you are watching all of Cara's dogs, she has so many animals that she rescues and takes care of, and they all have their own personality. They definitely love her, so it's kind of cute to see them this time in the background. Oh, you're running.
Hi,
Look at
it's
you.
me again. Okay.
Okay, let's hear it.
Please, I hope nobody takes offense out of this. I don't even know. I just kind of freeform wrote it. So, the future, are you ready?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so the future of the planet is humans will not be safe outdoors. Air will be sparse, and the mentally, physically, and spiritually strong will be the only ones that have a chance at survival. The oceans will be filled with blood for living, for with all the living things in it. Will die. Your I can't understand my own writing. Your only chance of survival is to start over. And uh, my writing sucks. And want things that can be used. Oh, and reuse things. Um, and then that can be okay. So get things that are can be sustainable. And okay, the trees are older than you think. Or we're not older than you think. Then are the old are old. And if you look carefully, you can see the faces and images of all past living things within them. So stop killing them. Eat their fruit, but do not kill them. That's what
Okay,
I wrote.
love it.
Yeah, but it's like
Well, yeah, but
it's
that's
so morbid.
okay. But that's okay. Sometimes
Like,
that's what comes out, right? It's the expression. And I mean, I think we're seeing multiple timelines right now. Like I can see multiple timelines in front of me and I can shift into one or the other throughout the day. So that is probably one of the timelines, I would say. Totally agree with you on the trees though. The trees are holding down some massive energy for us right now.
yes, they are.
Wow, okay, I'm getting like little
The
orbs of
trees are
energy.
just the trees are really like watching us.
Hmm.
Like I see like maybe it's potential that spirit can actually live in it, right? Because I believe that I don't know, my beliefs change all the time. If you flip through the shows, nobody's watching us anyways, but if you flip the shows, you'll see it changes all the time. But like I just think that energetically we are all connected, literally.
Hmm.
So like if we're treating a tree like shit, then guess what? We're treating ourselves like shit. If
Yeah.
we're treating animals like shit, we're treating ourselves. If we're treating humans like shit, we're treating. So it's kind of like a universal energetic. It's beautiful, but
Hmm.
I've noticed that once I start loving, and I mean like everything, even picking up shit off the floor, I don't love it, but
Hmm.
I think, okay, if there, if Ryder wasn't here, there'd be no shit on the floor. So
Hmm.
I would rather Ryder here,
Yeah. I know. Well, you know,
right?
it's funny because we've been digging in, like with my girls, we've been digging into magic and what does magic mean, and good magic, bad magic, if you want to put labels on it. And this morning, I had in my head of like, because I've been playing with a lot more energy because I have more time, and I was like, well, maybe we can
Yeah.
do something to like accelerate this process a little bit so we can open things up again and not have to wear these masks and all this jazz. But then I haven't done anything at the same time because for that same reason, right? You ask for something, but you don't know what the ramifications are, if you go down that if you go down that path, right? Like you could say,
Ugh.
I don't want to wear masks anymore, and that comes true, but then you may have something forced on you that is even worse than that. So it's, to play through that energy, play through those timelines, you want to be able to see the long game of what is the long-term ramifications of some of these choices that we're making or that we're asking for, especially when we start dabbling in energy and magic and so forth, because we are so powerful. We need to use it, ethically and consciously. But
Ethically,
yeah.
because when you start using it, right? Like it can, if you get, once you get practice, it manifests very fast,
Yeah.
like faster than you think.
Yeah.
It's blowing my mind. So there's a guy that passed away in a car just recently,
Hmm.
and I don't want to bring it up his name or anything for privacy for his family. And Kevin and I knew him, like not I didn't know him personally, but Kevin did. And so I was outside walking the dogs in the morning,
Hmm.
and randomly I look over and I see the name of that person's truck. But
Hmm.
then I'm dyslexic slightly. Yeah, don't be scared. As a travel agent, if I will get your name right. It makes me check more. So, anyways, I ended up looking and I went, oh, that's weird. I wonder why I read that on the car when that's not it. Maybe it was my dyslexia. Well, that same guy died that morning.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So I, of course, because I'm already crazy, and I'm very selfish at times, I'm like, oh, maybe it's because and then I'm like, no, wait a minute. It's just because I'm energetically
Hmm.
connected
Hmm.
to everything. Just
Hmm.
like you, just like everyone else's. I'm
Yeah.
not any more special than anyone else. It's just I happen to pick up on that.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize it until a few days later because I just didn't put two and two together. And I'm like, wait a minute. Why why am I kind of like triggered by this a little bit? It's because that's what happened. That same morning is the morning he died.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
That
hello,
that unified
right?
universe, right? Connecting us all together. Which you're saying,
Right.
like, I've been thinking about too is if we're all interconnected, then and we're all in the collective field, maybe I don't have to like go out and fight the world or try to change the world, but if I change the world
Mm-mm.
inside me, but I'm connected to everybody else, then
That's right.
the quantum physics would suggest that I'm changing the world by changing myself, or I'm changing the
Oh my
world
God, you just
by
use science.
right. I know.
Woohoo!
Fact
You know I
checking.
love
Um,
science.
I'm learning. I'm learning how to work. I'm learning how to work the system a little bit. Um,
Thank you. I love it.
but like I've done a lot of reflection here too with the trees and the elementals and the ancestors that are on our land. And I kept asking, like, what do I do? What do I do? I'm I can't make money, so that system is out. Doing what I've done before
Oh,
anyway. So like, what do you want me to do? What's the purpose of even being here? And the answer I keep getting back again and again is pour love into the land, pour love into the people around you, pour love into the land. And I'm like,
yes.
okay, I'll do that. And like, we're just going on trust at this point, but it's starting to make a lot more sense because if we can change the energy here, we change the energy everywhere. And if we change the energy in ourselves, then
Right.
every person we talk to, we have the potential to change their energy, right? And we know that,
Yeah.
our atoms vibrate, and whoever has the highest amplitude of frequency is going to change the world. So I'm like, okay, well, that
Right.
I'm gonna take comfort in that. And I'm not gonna watch the news, and I'm not gonna watch all this other stuff that's going on that's just there to lower my frequency, because a few of us have to be holding the high frequency,
Really. And
even if we can't do it all the time, right? Like, we kind of take turns, I think. Like, I'll have a couple of good
no,
days, and then someone else has a couple of good
I
days.
need a break sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes
But
I need a
I wanted
break,
to get back to what you wrote,
but it's,
because what you wrote is really interesting, and there's a lot of
isn't
theories,
that?
the end times and what happens at this point. And there's a lot of parallels between
Yeah.
the prophecies and the Bible and what's happening now, and you can start to see that playing out, which is really interesting. um, and I've been reading up a lot on the Norse mythology, so like the Celtic stories around the end times and what that looks
My
like.
people.
Right. Yeah. um, and here's the interesting
Yep.
thing,
The
though,
warriors.
because there's a lot of parallels on the end times, and I won't go into it because there's lots of like YouTubers that you can watch on that. But what's interesting to me is that they all talk about the end time, and then after the end time there's always the new beginning. And I think we're so focused on like what's going to happen in the end, how are we going to die, who's going to die, but we're forgetting that there's the new beginning. And in the Norse mythology,
There's no
they
such thing as death.
well, that too, right? Like
So it's like that we're worried about it for no reason.
yes. Well, this is the other thing I think about all the time too, is that that's part of the biggest illusion is they've made us fear death. And why are we fearing death? Maybe being here is actually worse, right? Especially now. Not saying that we're suggesting
Mm,
anybody go and do anything to themselves, but how we look at death, I think, as a
no.
society is very different from how it was looked at previously. Like, look at the Egyptians and
Yeah.
the elaborate affair that they went through to transition into light body. And even when you look at the Norse mythology, like, it
Hmm.
was just considered part of the cycle of life. And then you look at
I
the
love mythology, just so you know. I
yeah.
love
Well, there's so
mythology.
many
I
answers.
love it.
There's so many
Greek, Norse, Celtic. Ah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
I love it.
giants, like, oh,
Hmm.
giants is the other thing that I've been really hooked on the last couple months. I know there's something happening with giants, and I can't quite figure it out yet, but I keep getting references to
I can
giants.
ask Kevin because he's a giant.
Yeah, he is a giant.
Just kidding. He's a giant. He's like, we look ridiculous together because I'm like so little and he's like a giant.
But,
I'm
I've
like
been,
his little fairy.
yeah, you are like his little fairy. The, um, the, those messages that you get downloaded, because I've had a few too, like just on the weekend, I kept hearing Bodies of Angels coming through a song, but I can't figure out what the song was. It was like Bodies of Angels, and that's it. That's all I got on repeat. Like
Ah,
literally every minute I would hear Bodies of Angels to the point where I was like, okay, I got to research Bodies of Angels now, like the term, the phrase.
yeah, that's what I do. Yeah. Oh, it's
And
like it sucks you in. There's so much.
when there's so many things that it could be, like to me, I was getting that reference, and then in the background I was hearing like boom boom boom, so it was like Bodies of Angels, boom boom boom, and I was like, what?
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, it was like a mashup
Do they
in my
want you to
head.
dance? Do they want you to dance
No,
and
because it
shake that
wasn't it
ass?
wasn't a
It's
dancey
no,
feel. And I was getting
it was
images
more
of
like
like
a,
soldiers and stuff, but there is a biblical,
oh,
there's
Saint Michael, or it's not Saint Michael, Archangel Michael. So it's probably what I would think. Oh my God, am I reading you right now? Anyways,
let's just do it, come
oh
on.
my God. Okay, so well, Archangel Michael is well, he's the king of, well, not the king. I guess he is the boss of all the angels. He's the warrior angel. So
Hmm.
he's probably giving you the message.
Hmm.
Um, and maybe reaffirming that you're right. You can't fight everything. You want to, because you're that kind of person. You want to
Yeah,
make everything better for everybody.
yeah, oh
And
yeah,
you can't. And it's devastating.
yeah.
But what Michael is saying, like, is yeah, it is devastating, but do it where you're at. Your
Hmm.
energy is you can expand your energy anywhere you want. You're the kind of person that can leave the planet
Yeah.
and go to other planets. So stop worrying about that. We can't change the whole world. It's devastating. It is devastating to see hungry children or to see,
Hmm.
knowing that there's child abuse or addicts that are dying. I so desperately want to go and like I don't. I'll be honest with you. I don't want to go to anybody's house right now and try to save them.
Yeah,
I don't.
yeah.
But I'm willing to do what I can in a safe environment to be able to do that.
Hmm.
You have an amazing gift where like you can do this whether you're dreaming or in life, like in awake. You
Yeah.
can actually leave your body and go and give hugs. I've felt you do it to me.
Yeah.
I
Well,
miss
I've
Cara.
I've been
Oh.
playing with it too, because I've heard people, um because I've been doing a lot of work with people who are, how do I word this? Maybe been attacked by black magic. We'll just put it that. We'll just be blunt today. Um and
Black
so
magic is bad words,
yeah,
right?
and I've
Words are
yeah,
magic.
yeah, and so I've been seeing a couple stories out there, and I don't know these people, but I just, for whatever reason, I'm drawn to these particular stories. So I've been playing with it a little bit of like trying to find
What
ways to
stories?
go.
Now you've got me.
Well, like,
What stories?
like I've heard a couple celebrities that, maybe were shows that I watched as a child. And so I followed them on TV, and now they're having, what's being labeled as psychotic breaks, but I don't think they're necessarily psychotic breaks. I think they're actually having some energy attacks, and they're trying to move out of those systems that they've, for whatever reason, been caught in. So I've been trying to reach a hand out to them in the astral. And I mean, it sounds, even to me, I'm like, what am I doing?
It does sound crazy, but it's not crazy. It's not.
Yeah.
You know what? It's not crazy. And I'm sick of people telling me, Cara, you sound fucking crazy. Well, you know what? What about you sounding crazy? You believe that a guy was put inside of a rock and then he came back to life. He was dead and then he came back to life and he moved the rock. And you're worried about me talking about energy when you can actually, literally, scientifically measure it.
Yeah.
Like you can see, you know what? I do believe that looking at things from a logical point of view isn't always the best thing to do. Like, because I don't.
Hmm.
I try to kind of, yeah, like I don't agree with everything that everybody says. I kind of know in my gut what is sounds right to me, right?
Hmm.
And that's all that matters. To start telling ourselves that we're crazy and this and that. That's why we end up going and that's why our people end up in the psych wards. Seriously.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
exactly.
you know what I mean? Or they end up getting drunk all the time,
Well, did I
you
ever
know,
tell
or
you
getting high all the time.
did I tell you the story of I was doing a session with one of the most amazing women I know. The two of you would probably be like besties if you met each other in person. And
Aw. I was
her
gonna say, you didn't interview me.
yeah, one of her her ancestors had come in when we were doing like a crystal energy work with her, and her grandmother had actually been in one of the concentration camps back in the day, like the real deal concentration camps.
Hmm.
and and just to be clear, her mom was there in, or her, not her mom, but her ancestor was there in spirit. And she was explaining to me, her ancestor in spirit form, of how they targeted some of the healers during that time. And they were reverse engineering the way that we did healing energy back then. And so she had a really strong message that day of, she had done everything she could to be able to come back to that point in time with the two of us, to be able to deliver that message, to make sure that we were very strong in how we move forward from that point on,
Yeah.
because we were more powerful, and that they didn't understand it as well as living it right in our bodies. Like, as a human body, we carry that energy and we use that energy, but that thought had never crossed my mind that some of what we do has possibly been reverse engineered, right, to be used against
Seriously.
in this, spiritual battle that we're in. It makes sense, but I never thought of it.
And we're manipulated into thinking that it's the right way, but is it the right way? I only know
Yeah.
the right way for me. Everybody is different, right?
So
Like, everybody I think consciously knows when they're doing something like when you're doing
yeah,
something shitty, unless you are a psychopath, but even them, I think they know.
yeah,
Come on. You know in your heart, it's energetically, you can
yeah. If
feel
you
it,
have
you
empathy,
know?
though, right? That's if you have empathy. But
Yes.
then that begs the question: if you don't have empathy, are you something else? Maybe, I don't know. Um,
I
but
think that different species, different I guess you can say alien species
that's
may not
possible, right?
need empathy, right? Because they are one and they already can read each other. They already know there's no need for empathy because they already have
Yeah,
it naturally. I don't know how to explain it in the right way, but you
yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like if I could feel that if you're like if you and I were like say, connected like these some of these aliens are. This is
Hmm.
so fun. I love having these conversations. So let's just pretend and I could like be like, "Oh, Jen, you don't feel very good. I can tell because I'm part of you. So
Hmm.
why do you need empathy?"
Yeah,
Right? So
because
maybe there are some incarnated people and a lot some of these people realize that there's no such thing as death,
hmm, yeah.
right?
Well, I think a lot of us are
It
starting
is.
to realize that. So
Oh
here's the thing.
God,
So
I'm tired.
I want to
If
shift
anybody
gears a
wants
bit.
to know, everybody dies and but they don't die because trust me, I had so many people die and so many addicts and friends and lots of trauma and I'm telling you, they're all good on the other side. Every single
Hmm.
one of them.
Hmm.
It is a beautiful, loving, universal feeling. We're trying to figure that out here, but it's
Yeah,
really not here. It's on the other side.
yeah,
Yeah. This
I
is where
agree.
we learn. This is where we manifest into humans. I want to manifest into something that can fly next time because I think that in my previous life I was flying
Yeah.
because I was never, every single one of my dreams, I'm flying and I am self aware. I know who I am. I
Hmm.
love it that I can pick, like, if you know how you have, like, sex dreams, you can pick. Where's Kevin? Where's Kevin? They're dreams, right? Like,
Well, I mean,
but
for
anyways,
some people
but
they
you know what
dream
I
of
mean. Like,
because if you're in a parallel, then it might actually be real. So there's debate on that, Cara. Like, I know some couples who get really upset when it happens in the dreams.
oh, I don't get upset. I think like I don't even, and I told you about this. I think that
Yeah.
like if we're universal love, if you're meant to be with somebody, it'll happen. And it doesn't matter whether it's male, female. If it's animals, you don't have them sexually. That's fucking weird, okay? But you can love an animal like a person. You can. I've got
Mhm.
5 of them and I love them. And I've got 2 cats, so 7 animals.
Mhm.
Not COVID. But yeah, like I feel very, very, very blessed that I'm able to have these relationships with them. He's doing
Mhm.
his yoga downward dog.
I love it.
Yeah,
That's
so
so
and I
nice.
learn a lot from them. I practice my energy with them. So
Yeah.
if I'm off, my dogs are off.
Yeah.
Oh, I meant to ask you this. Okay. So, I I'm 41, right? I know I look 20. I know. It's like I don't blame you. I know. It's fucking unbelievable. I look like I'm 20. Zoom filters. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah, my hands. Okay, so my husband, he's got like his whole body is sore because he is a mechanic. And like hats off to you guys because everything on your body hurts afterwards. It's like doing yoga and Pilates and a little bit of CrossFit, but sporadically throughout the whole day as a
Mhm.
career. So he's physically sore. So he can feel the heat from me. And I thought it was menopause. I really honestly did. I thought, well, I'm 41. Like, I mean, it's possible. I've had issues. I wasn't able to have kids. So maybe there's some sort of vaginal making
Mhm.
me, hormonal. Um, no, no, I can literally focus my energy into any part of my body and it will heat up.
Mhm.
So, what does that tell you about the power of our brains? I'm letting my body know who the fuck is the boss. And, I'm trying to tell like my sister that right now. My sister has cancer. I didn't tell you this.
No, you didn't.
Maybe I did. No, she
Oh.
has thyroid cancer. She's had half of her thyroid out already, and there's another
Mhm.
piece in there, and they're like, yeah, we have to take it all. I'm like, why didn't you take the whole fucking thing out? Like, but anyways, I told her, I'm like, focus your energy. And I know there's eye rollers because it's not easy when you're told that you have cancer or you have like some sort of debilitating illness that might kill you.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
you can't. I tried to make my body have a baby and it didn't work, right?
Yeah.
It didn't work. But I don't think that there's any harm on trying to focus some positive warmth and energy to the area of your body that hurts.
Mhm.
And I have noticed that I have been able to achieve this.
Yeah.
It's crazy. All in a matter of a pandemic. All of this stuff is happening. And you know that I am like kind of like a skeptic, kind of. Like I'm
Mhm.
a skeptic, kind of like on the tier. Yeah, my hands can be freezing. I will just think about it and then they're hot.
Mhm.
And my
Mine have
energy, I
been,
can see it.
yeah, mine have been like the same thing, but I've been experiencing
Yeah.
this new sensation of like it's like I can turn them into a magnet and pull
Yes,
stuff out. Have you been feeling that? I've been asking everybody this.
that's
Is
what
this
it's
what's happening
like.
to anybody else? Because I've been
It
trying
is, yes.
to work with like nanoparticles and implants, right? And to see if
Yeah.
there's a process, an antidote or anything like it's just a curiosity of mine. I just like to play with these things.
I love your brain. I do.
But there's, I mean, there is science around energy healing.
There
I mean,
is.
it's some more of it's ancient, but it's coming back to the forefront again, and people are actually studying this. And even if you just look at the frequency and the waves of energy, this is what I've been trying to. This is what I need to like. I need to get back to working again because I have this not experiment but project I want to do. Have you heard of like Kirlian? I'm not pronouncing this right. Kirlian like aura photography, right? Where they take pictures of your aura
Yes.
energy. Well,
Yes.
now you
Kevin
can
can see auras.
yeah, now you can actually get video. You can do it video as opposed to just still shots, and so you can see the energy in the entire room. So I want to get one of these video cameras because you know how many times we've done sessions or we've done classes here, and you can see the orbs or we've seen the energy,
Yeah.
but you can't actually provide evidence of it. And so I've been playing with this energy work with the hands and the crystals and the sound resonance And when we have a group of people together, everybody kind of sees the same thing or feels the same thing. But wouldn't it be cool if we could actually have a video of the energy to see what does the energy actually look like as we're
Oh
doing this?
God, that would be so
Wouldn't that be
cool. Well, you
awesome?
and I are both nerds. We're both
Yeah,
nerds. I have come
yeah.
to realize that I only hang out with nerds. There you
I'll take
go.
that as a compliment.
Yeah,
Um,
Kevin's a nerd too.
he
I
is,
married
yes.
one.
I like how Kevin's
He
mind
is.
works too.
Well, he's interested in a lot of these things, right? And
Hmm.
also, again, he's also a recovering alcoholic addict. So
Hmm.
he has bared witness to things.
Yeah,
And it's really hard. It's really hard for someone like Kevin to navigate a world like this because
hmm,
it's like he's like you. He's
yeah,
he's like, but you guys get pissed off. Like you
yeah,
get pissed off.
hmm,
You guys will do it differently because you're so
yeah,
sweet. He is a jackass when he gets pissed off, but you know what I mean? Like you get pissed off at injustice. You
yeah,
get pissed off at things that matter. I get pissed off because there's a shit on the floor,
yeah.
right? There's a difference.
Well, I
So
mean,
I
that
learned so
that's me
much,
too, but not so much.
but not so much. Fucking shit.
Okay, I mean, you know, I had a little poop issue here right before we popped on our call. So whether it's kids or dogs, you're always dealing with poop, right? So you get used
But
to
your
that.
kids are so special too. Like your kids are so special. Like I
Yeah.
mean, they can see right through people too.
Hmm.
They saw through our mutual friend and they
Yeah.
loved her. Well, she
Hmm.
Bellevue did.
Yeah.
And and it doesn't matter. Personalities are just personalities. That's all they are. The
Yeah.
soul is what matters. And the
Yeah.
soul is what all of us are to get connected to each other.
Exactly.
And you wouldn't be so mad. Like I don't even care if I hook up with my stepdad now on the other
Hmm.
side, even though I'm pissed off at him in the human world. I
Hmm.
know that there's some role that he played in helping me overcome so many things in my life.
Yeah.
And there's things about him that were good. So
Hmm.
I choose to live there. A lot of people, I want my sister to see that, you know what, being angry and pissed off and resenting my mother and resenting my stuff, all that other stuff, and resent, is just going to make you sick. Now my
Yeah.
sister has cancer, you know?
Well, I'm
I'm
thinking.
not saying that that causes it. I don't want anybody to be offended by that. Like, I
Hmm.
I recognize illness. I have endometriosis. My organs are like stuck together. I am like in pain as we speak, actually, right now. I've been in pain off. It's been getting worse, but like I'm not going to live in it. I'm not going to constantly think about it, fester on it. I'm just going to keep directing light to it. And
Hmm.
you know what? It might go away, it might not. It's never going to go away for me. But
You
maybe
never know.
because I'm saying it's never going to go away, it won't. You know what I mean? Like that's
Right.
we are we are responsible for our behavior and how we
Hmm.
respond to negativity.
Hmm.
Our emotions are our responsibility how we handle them.
Yeah.
We can't help it how we feel. If somebody hurts your feelings, automatically it's like, oh, that like me, it's like, what a bitch.
Hmm.
What a bitch. But you know what? No, I'm not going to engage there because it's like if I can feel the feeling and then move on and then
Yeah.
deal with it in an appropriate way, that's the best way to go. Because Kevin has no idea, like he's getting better. You are very good at it, but you've been doing a lot of work your whole life. Like, you know what I mean? In this avenue.
Yeah.
But anger can also come out in different ways, right? Anger can come out as like, go fuck yourself, or anger can come out doing drugs. Anger can come out in so many ways, eating shitty food.
Hmm.
Like, put some healthy food in your body. I
Yeah.
literally glow. Like, this is Zoom glow, but I literally glow. This is really me glowing. In real life, I glow. I do.
You do.
And the reason is because I before I go see you, I drink water because I know you're gonna fucking know. You'd be like, "Did you drink any water? Because you're not glowing right now." Some of it is just putting those things into your body that we need, right?
Yeah.
But anyways, back to the whole, uh, yeah, like the world is has gone to shit, but we don't have to go to shit. And the world
Well,
has
they don't
always
have
been
roads
in
though.
shit, to be honest.
Okay,
The
so
world has
here's
always been in shit. There's starving
yeah.
kids
There's
forever.
this there's all these issues here, but I also think like we look at the tale of the bifurcation of the worlds and the multiple worlds and all of that, and and kind of catching on what you were just saying, when we look at our frequency, we know that fear and anger and grief, that those frequencies all lower our immune system because every frequency affects
Yep.
our cells because our cells are atoms.
Yep.
So
They're
whether
living.
sick or not, it doesn't, like, that's chicken before the egg, right? But we know it lowers the immune system. So if we're coming in contact with a potential illness, then we're going to have a higher likelihood if we're in fear or grief or anger, right? And then you look out into the world, and what are the emotions that are being pumped out on our TV and our radio and
Oh,
everything else? Anger and fear and grief and all those things, right?
people are
So
being mean to each other, like
well,
really vicious
yeah,
and mean.
this is my theory, is like, they're saying it's the pandemic fatigue. I don't think that's what it is. I think is that a lot of people had believed what we were told, that 2 weeks to flatten the curve, and once we get through this hump, it will go back to normal. Once you get your jab, we'll go back to normal. But I think people are starting to realize that 2021 is looking about the same as 2020 at this point, and I think we're starting to see that there's potential that we're here for the long haul. All of us are hoping
We all
not,
need this. We all
but
need this. I'm sorry to be so blunt. We do. We need it.
it's forced, yeah, it's, I think it's forcing us into a
It's a
spiritual
wake up call.
evolution. That
Fuck.
there's,
We
this
need it.
concept of pouring love into the land, right? Is there's so many people in fear, and I keep saying, like, if you didn't have a TV and you hadn't watched the TV, and you didn't have a radio and you hadn't listened to the radio, I'm not saying you didn't listen to music that
You
you
wouldn't
enjoy,
know.
but would you be as afraid as you are? And so if you weren't
No.
afraid, your immune system would be a lot stronger, because when we move into peace and joy and relaxation, our immune system gets a boost, right? So I'm like,
Yeah.
if I have to choose between where I want to fall during a pandemic, I certainly need
Right.
to be very, very conscious and aware of where my emotional state is at. And so the one strategy I have is I just don't watch it. And a lot of it doesn't resonate truth to me. I don't know what you're feeling, but I watch it and I just start laughing because I'm like, this
I don't
can't be
believe
real.
anything anymore. I
Um,
literally don't believe. I feel like I'm watching um, like when celebrities are being followed by the paparazzi. I feel like the
yeah.
paparazzis are all like, I just, but back to what you were just saying, people are getting upset because they're being told something and then they have to do it again, then again and again. And it's like,
Yeah.
you know what? Pull up your panties, buttercup. What the fuck do you think is going on? The world is not in your control.
Yeah.
None of this is in our control.
Yeah.
We can control only our 9 square feet and like what's around us and who we can allow around us. And
Mm-hmm.
some people don't even get that in the world. Some people don't even have a choice. They're
Mm-hmm.
in situations that are like, you know, this has been happening forever.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's just that people are realizing, they're seeing, oh, it's not 2 weeks, it's now like 2 years. Oh, it might be 5 years. Oh, it might be this. The world might end. Yeah, it might. It might end today. I don't know. But
Yeah.
we have no control over it.
Yeah.
Let it go. If
Yeah.
you don't have control over it, let it go. If
Yeah.
you do have control over it and you do have a voice and you can say and do and make things better, I have 5 sponsees who are silver. I can't take credit, but you know what? That is taking responsibility
Mm-hmm.
for what you can do to benefit other people. I'm a shithead, so I was able to help other people because they were also shitheads. If they ever watch this, they'll laugh their ass off because they are. They're fucking idiots. All of us are. Every human
Yeah. Oh
being is an
yeah. I
asshole.
totally agree. We've had we've
Okay?
had that conversation before, right? As at some point we're all
Yeah.
the asshole. At some point we all have to cut somebody off in traffic, and we all have to do these things that are not, ideal. But then it gives us the compassion and the space to forgive others, because if we know that we made
Right.
that mistake, innocently, or for whatever reasons we fell into that space, then there's got to be
Right.
compassion in our heart to realize other people may have innocently fallen into
Could you
that.
imagine if everybody caught what they were about? Could you imagine if everybody caught their shitty thing that they were about to do, or they did and then they made amends right away,
Yeah.
what would happen?
Yeah.
That's I'm going to talk about the program again. I just very briefly, but that's AA. That's what we're doing. We're changing our personalities.
Hmm.
The soul never changes. It's always there. But you
Hmm.
have to be able to tap into it and be able to talk to it. And if you're a shitty fucking person, you're not going to be able to. It's impossible. Honestly, it is.
Hmm.
All you have to do is make that decision and start changing those things. And I did that, and the other girls I've done that. My friends have done it who are not addicts. You've done it. You're not an addict, but you've done it. And you know what? We've all done it. But, it's just making the amends, making that, catching it.
Yeah.
And then slowly, little bits of the world can change. Little bits, just one little thing at a time. I have 5 dogs. My house is destroyed, but these 5 dogs have a home. They
Hmm.
had no home.
Hmm.
They were like left by their owners. And now I can take care of them. And that's why I didn't have kids. It's because my higher power, God, the universe, aliens, whatever the fuck that is, whatever it is that is controlling the electricity in my brain. I don't know if you've ever seen a dead body. I have seen a dead body, not a human, luckily, but I've seen a dead animal. Guess what? When they're gone, man. They're gone, but on another level, a new life.
Yeah.
This is not them anymore. So it's like, it's just, I don't know. I wouldn't change
Well,
anything in my
have you
life,
ever
but
in your meditations or your dreams, have you felt that feeling of being outside of the physical form, like feeling out of the
oh
body,
God, yes.
right? Like
Oh,
I
for
now
sure.
now when I like
Dude,
meditate,
I was used to do ecstasy and friggin' cocaine together. I'm pretty sure I felt out of my body.
I mean, that's like pushing yourself out of your body.
I think I died in the hospital from an OD and
I
came
guess
back. So
that's true.
yes. But
But you can
but no,
achieve that
really, I've had
now
so many
without
near
that
death
trauma.
experiences. Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't need to do shit like that. Like it's
Because
not
like
worth
when I
it.
go on
But
my
it's
journeys now,
you know.
it's like I see myself going down this tunnel and it's literally like I peel the meat suit off and it's like freedom to just
Yeah.
spread out.
That's what
And
this is, a meat suit.
yeah, and you know how like for
And you know
example
what?
there's
Biologically flawed. It is. It's
yeah,
flawed. So things are going to be different. I believe that humans will live forever. I
I
do.
do too. Yeah.
And I that was part of what my thing was going to be when I was writing it down was that, human beings, we are going to be like, we're going to have better bodies than this. This is just biological.
Yeah.
Like, our souls are what is the meat and potatoes,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Well,
So the
and you know how
biological machine, oh,
you
a
know
kid is
how
appearing.
I try to keep them off the internet. Um
Oh, I love it.
you know how when you're feeling like right now because we haven't been exercising and there's all this energy swirling
Oh,
around, so we're also absorbing energy in our body and you just feel like your body is too small. That's how I'm describing it. We always think like, oh, I'm feeling so
hmm.
fat or whatever, but I'm like, no, my body's too small. That's the problem because I'm carrying
It's
so much
so,
energy. My soul has so much energy that it wants to bring here that my body is just too small today. And
and
so
your
I'm trying
cells have energy. Your
yeah,
cells have energy. Everything in your body is energy. Everything.
and consciousness,
Everything.
right? Like
Yes.
I believe
Everything.
our body has its own consciousness. Like I just put up a meditation
Yes,
from
it does.
on your body
Oh my God, I
elements,
love talking to you. Oh my God.
and
I love talking to you.
speaking to the consciousness of your body of like because I think the body is like one of the best communication tools because it can tell you
Yes.
or it's grasping onto information from our environment, from our emotions and our higher self, all of
Hmm.
that. So it can actually tell you what's going on if your mind hasn't quite caught up yet to what's going on. Right? So if we
Yeah.
slow down and do those meditations or we just slow
Yeah.
down, then we can get
Yeah.
that information. Why not?
Massage your own feet. I know that's random, but massage your own feet. Say, get in the bathtub and tell yourself you love it. Because think about it, our bodies are all loaded with water too, right?
Mhm.
And water can change just by using a prayer. If we
Yes.
could change our bodies, or the water in our body, just by telling it that we love it, I
Yeah.
mean, it sounds conceited. I love myself. That's the difference. It's I love myself, not um what's the word? Not like I'm better than everyone else. I just love myself. And you tell it. And then there's days that I hate myself. I hate my body. I hate my stomach. I hate this. But it's because I'm 5'2",
Yeah.
okay? And I'm 140 pounds, and I'm not going to ever look like what they have told me I'm supposed to look like. It's never going to happen. Ever. Ever. Am I going to have
Well,
long legs? Unless they make a machine out of me. The
and then
biological,
you might shift your body energetically, but then these like you said, these ideals that they're pushing us into, why?
if they're not, who
Why?
cares?
Because when you
Yeah.
look back into the paintings of like the ancient times, you don't see women with six
Oh,
packs. You
no, they
don't.
have my
So
belly.
why is
They
it?
have my little tire.
Yeah, but
And
that
the
was
boobs are right down there too, like totally
yeah,
normal.
but that was all love. I mean, that was all appreciated. That was all sacred. Like we need to get back
Uh,
to loving that.
Men
And just
love
think
it.
about it.
Men
That those experiments
men
they
need to
do.
stand up for us and say, like, come on, like these are ridiculous perceptions of what women should look like. I like my woman with a little bit of, a little bit of meat on her. Or
Yeah,
if she's really skinny, I really like my woman just like as she is. Because there's skinny girls who can't help it, and chubby girls who can't help it. And
yeah,
there's all different sizes. We're all different. Who
hmm,
cares? I
exactly.
have been dealing with that my whole life, trying to be the most beautiful.
Hmm.
And when I stopped caring, that's when people started to go, "Wow, you look really good." Caring about what other people think. I care about my appearance. I do. But
Yeah,
I also, I don't give a shit what people think as much anymore.
yeah.
That's getting older though, I think, too.
I think
You're not
yes.
40 yet. Are you 40?
No, no.
You're not yet.
Maybe next year. Maybe next
She's
year.
like, "No, maybe in like 20 years, Cara. What are you talking
I'm
about?"
like I'm horrible with my how old I actually am. It's just not a thing that like registers in my brain. I don't know. I just
I'm
not.
just old.
Yeah.
I'm
What
just
I'm
old.
trying.
I have
Okay.
white hair right now.
So time. Let's talk about time because I'm gonna switch gears because I'm
Okay.
trying. Okay, I've been obsessed with time travel like since I was a kid. But I think
Hmm.
there's something about how the world, like how we all feel enslaved. We don't have this freedom right now, and
We
there's this
don't.
in the physical world. But I think time plays a role in this. So I'm trying to crack the code on time. So have you had any weird experiences, anomalies, lost time, slow time, fast time in the last couple months?
My whole life. I'm 41 now. What the fuck happened? Well, my example would be like what I saw that car outside. And
Hmm.
it wasn't that person's car that died, but I thought it was. And
Hmm.
they died that morning.
Hmm.
So I knew at that moment, but without consciously being aware that that person was gone. And that's like in real time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're definitely, I think what's interesting about time, Kevin has to come on this call one day because he's really
Yeah.
good at this,
Yeah.
at explaining it. But I think with time, if you, somebody, I heard somebody else say this again, back to the soul again with time. Think about it. The soul stays the same. The time that you, from the time before you were born until the soul entered into the body and then grew up, shit in its diaper, grew up more until the point where he's a senior and he's like shitting in his diaper again.
Hmm.
And the soul stays the same.
Hmm.
More knowledge, more understanding. The personality and the physical body does not.
Hmm.
The physical body stays like, well, I don't age because, because I have Zoom filters. But there's, our physical body changes, our personalities change, our relationships change. Everything on this planet changes because we have implemented something called time.
Hmm.
Really, it doesn't matter. Like the soul is the same.
Hmm.
We're like, it doesn't matter. So that's like, I'm wondering if there's any way of us. being able to tap into that, into the
Yeah.
soul
Yeah.
aspect, because there is too personality, soul, and then
Mhm.
you've got your physical body, which is made up of probably a bunch of different little souls in the cells.
Mhm.
You just don't know.
Yeah.
We're so huge and so big as human beings that we just have no fucking clue. You and I cannot wrap our minds around it.
Mhm.
I'm
Well, I
telling
think
you. We can try. We can try, especially you
yeah,
will. You will try,
I
and
will
Kevin will
try.
try. You will,
Yeah.
because you're seeking. You're a seeker.
Yeah.
You're a seeker, you know?
Because well,
My
it's
one
because I
friend says
refuse
to me,
to
she
lose
goes, "Why
this
do you
time.
care?" What's
I
that?
want. I said I refuse to lose this time around. I feel like we've come here and battled so many times, and
Yeah.
this. I feel like this is my last go. So I'm like, I'm in it to win it this time
Yeah,
around.
I don't think it's your last go. I think that maybe your last go on the earth.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, that's what I
possible.
mean.
I
Last
think that you're
on the earth.
spiritually strong enough to absolutely acknowledge what your soul wants to do.
Yeah,
And
and
how's
so
it
what?
going
But
on
what?
that note with the babies?
Good, good.
Remember, you were like, I don't know, Cara. I'm like, why don't you just follow your beautiful heart and your soul? Those girls are with you every day.
Yeah,
You're so lucky.
yeah,
You
I am
really
lucky.
are. I would kill for that. I would kill for that. I mean, seriously. Maybe not
So,
kill,
but
but
this
I
is
would.
what, but this is where they're, this is where I'm there. We're working together. Is we're trying to find these moments of timelessness. So I'm hesitant to teach them time. Like I'm hesitant to teach them how to read a clock. They kind of know, right? Because they know when snack time is and like food is coming. They know when food is coming. But their age, this is when you would be learning this in school is time
Mhm.
and setting that in place, right? And I'm hesitant to do so because I think that there is something about this entrapment when we get caught up in time of like, okay, it's 10 o'clock now, and then it's going to be 11 o'clock, and then it's going to be 12 o'clock, and I have to do all these things, like the Mad Hatter from Alice in Wonderland. And then think about those moments in life where you're not paying attention to time. You're completely oblivious. Like time could not exist. You're out for a walk. You go out to Torrance Barrens or something, and
I
time
do
feels like
this all the time. I don't have any concept of time.
yeah. Well, right. But it feels so good. It feels so good
It
when there's
does.
time. And it feels really stressful when there is time. Even if you're like going to
Yeah.
meet a friend to do something fun, there's still this element of stress of like, okay, we got to try and do this properly so that we get there on time. Like we're not too early and we're not too late. And
I'm not a plans person. I'm not. I hate it. I hate
yeah,
plans. But
yeah,
that's also why I think it is important that like I'm glad that I do know time, because on
yeah.
this planet, unfortunately, that's what we're working with right now.
Right
So
now,
I need to know right now, but it might change,
yeah.
right? It might change. I would love it if it changed. I would love
Imagine.
to not
Okay,
never
so
work again.
let's just
I
dream a
just
little
don't
bit.
want to work anymore.
Yeah. Well, everyone's like that, right?
Work.
Imagine that there's no time. Okay, so I'm like, okay, there's no time. That's a beautiful thing. I think that would be a beautiful thing because I don't think that time
Oh,
is accurate to how the world spins anyway. Like, why do we have a leap year? Okay, if it was accurate, we wouldn't
I
have a leap
know.
year.
Could you imagine
People,
if you were born on that day?
yeah, because that means we're like losing or gaining time, right, every day a little bit, so that every 4 years we end up with a whole other
The
4 years.
universe is constantly expanding. It's constantly expanding and away
Yeah.
from each other,
So
right? That
if we were living in organic time, right? So we could just go about whatever we need to do following that organic nature. But then the question becomes when we have to meet up with somebody, how would that work? So my one thought is like, well, if we're all connected and we all activate our telepathic abilities, which we all have, they've been turned off, then it would just be a
mhm.
matter of like me going, Cara, what are you doing? You want to get together? Kind of like we've
But
done a
you
few
do
things.
but you've done that to me. I'm like, I think Jen's coming, and then all of a sudden you're like, boop. I'm like,
Well, yeah, because I need
it's
to know you're
amazing.
here,
If
right?
people
Like
could
there's this
just do
vibration.
this, if people could just do this, just
Well, we can.
fucking like,
We can.
right?
Do you
It's
know what it
so
is?
much
Is
fun.
we're all waiting for someone else to do it first, to give us permission to do
Mm,
it, right? Like right now, everybody's kind of
yeah.
waiting for permission to like go visit their friends, and they don't even care who it is, like just for someone to give them permission. So why don't we just give ourselves permission right now to start doing that, to start operating
We
in a
can do
telepathic
whatever we
field,
want.
to get back into the time field. Because
I
look,
don't know if you, I want you to see all the stuff that's in my mind. Believe me.
I will
You'll,
not.
you'll run.
You can put a box around those things. I'm only
We
gonna
have to
see what
put,
I'm looking for, right? Hopefully.
but I
Um,
think that what people have to understand too is that with telepathy, I would assume, it's more like it's not like you're invading somebody's space. It's
mhm.
more like you're talking, like it's talking, it's connecting. It's
It is.
think about it. Where do you know what just came to me?
No, tell
This
me.
is I can't believe that we're recording this, but the mask, right?
Hmm.
Could you imagine if this is symbolic? Like we are going to end up really using telepathy.
Oh, I know we are. We're already there,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I've talked to so many people who are already doing that. I mean, I've been having conversations with people that I've never met, but I've followed on online, and now I'm like,
yeah.
oh, okay, we're in some weird astral
Here's my
sync.
buddy.
Conversation, cool. This is cool,
Yeah,
right? But here's another thing I've been thinking about too, is like all of us who have lost our businesses and lost our jobs in this process, and it's a real struggle. It's a real struggle because you're trying to figure out how to pay your bills and get your food and all of that stuff. But it's also kind of pushing us into this space of developing some of these skill sets, I think. And we're also kind of
yeah.
in a spot where we don't have much left to lose.
Hmm.
So why not start playing with this skill set and this technology? Um, and then when you look at all the censorship that's happening online too, it's kind of forcing us even further into that space of like, well, if you can't connect on Twitter or Facebook or whatever, then how are you going to connect with the people that you really want to connect with? And telepathy is kind of the next step
That's the only,
if you can't see them in person, right?
and
And we
unless
don't
we
want
have like
that.
a window on our mouth on the masks, you can't,
Yeah.
you can't. And like another thing I'd like to know is why is this happening? At the end, what the, why?
So
Why?
have you
And
gotten
why
any
is it that people are,
have you gotten
oh,
any messages around, like, I've asked a couple times to my guides some specific questions, like, when are we going to be done with the masks? Because I can't wear one. So my life, like, I haven't been in the public world since July of 2020.
and you
And
know, I try not to. Like, I don't wear a mask unless I'm going into the store because of, if I have no choice. That's really why, is because I have no choice.
so
And
you
I
have
don't
a
want to
choice,
get
you just
anybody,
don't want the consequence of not
I
wearing
don't want the consequence. That's right. Yes. So I
it. You
just
don't
wear
want
it. I'm like, fuck it. I don't want the consequence. Like if I really am sick and I make somebody sick, like that, I don't want to do that either. So whatever, I'll wear it. But I don't, I get Kevin to go into the stores. That sounds so bad. Here you go. Go.
so
Make sure you
so
wear a
I
mask and gloves.
I asked when the masks will be gone. Like a couple months ago, I asked when the masks were going to be gone, and I was given an answer I didn't like. So I keep asking for a recount, and I was told 2023, 2023, and I was
Oh,
like, God, I don't know if I want to do it that long. Like I can do it a year or two,
the
but
thing is, there's variants too now, right? Like there's the UK variants. There's like, and that's what I was thinking. Like, if
oh
there's all these
no,
variances, why are we wearing masks? Like, it's not making any difference. There's more and more building on itself. And why all of a sudden? So
yeah.
I think it's because the planet, I don't even know how a virus has started, to be honest with you. I'm not like a big scientist, but um,
That's an interesting
I
thing to
think that the
research if you're interested in it.
I think the planet, I'm definitely going to go look at that and how a virus is created. But like the thing is like the earth is getting, as far as I've been told on the media news, the earth is getting cleaner as a result of us staying home. That we're getting a break. Like there's no, I hate to say it, but air travel and like cruises and you know, in my industry, I'm just talking about it because,
Yeah.
and vehicles, right? Like,
Yeah.
so maybe I was thinking maybe this is all this stuff is getting made up. There is COVID. I'm not saying that there isn't this sort of sickness. It's really,
Mhm.
it's there. But like, what if the planet's like, fuck you guys? Like, seriously? I am going to like throw some viruses out there and you think you're going to change it? Well, you have no control. You think you have
Okay.
control, you have no control.
So
That's what I'm thinking.
but here's my challenge with that. Like I do agree that the earth is probably doing some cleansing. But if it was the earth that was pushing the virus, I think we would be seeing more natural disasters and we would be seeing more people dying than because what we're actually seeing,
Yeah,
the biggest part is more, it seems to be human led enforcement and stuff like that, right? So to me, that's more of
yeah.
another like a species design rather than an earth design in that
Yeah,
regard.
so that's what I have to look up. I have to read. I have been telling myself, well, whatever's been telling me, to look up on how viruses are started.
Yeah. Yeah,
And then I'll go from there.
but the earth, I
Because
think
the
there
tr
is a component with the earth too, because I don't know if like because the earth is spinning, so we're told, right? Um, but there's been a few
I
days
don't
where
know.
like I've been told by some of the other psychics around me that the earth stopped spinning one day. We were out for a walk and I was told that the earth was no longer spinning. And I know there was a planet, I can't was it Saturn
The
or
12th planet?
Neptune? There's this, I follow these people called the suspicious observers and they do space weather news every morning. And they had talked about there's this
You are a nerd, but I love you because
yeah, but
nerds rule.
there was this storm that was I love it. There was a storm that was spinning like this like 200-year-old storm, and I'm getting this wrong. Go to suspicious observers, you'll see the accuracy better than I'm telling you. But there was a storm
I
that was spinning
will. I'm good.
for like hundreds of years, and this year it stopped, just hard cold stopped moving and reversed directions. And so I've been like, my mind has been really interested in how is the earth spinning? Is it speeding up? Is it slowing down? Is it gonna reverse? Because there's also this concept of a polar shift too that's been in talks for a long period of time. And I
Yeah.
caught wind of this theory that perhaps what's going on is that, the wealthy people are all moving into these bunkers because this pole shift is going to happen, which would bring bad weather, which could potentially result in depopulation as well. So I've gone down that path of like, okay, let's learn a little bit more about the pole shift. Um, and I'm telling you that one, don't do that one if you want to stay in a high. Because I like
Mm.
2 days I walked around going, nothing matters. We're all gonna die. Nothing matters. So I had to like calm down,
Yeah.
right? So
But
I
you
don't
know
know
what?
if
You're right. We are
something
going to die.
happened.
All of us are going to die.
Oh yeah,
All of us
yeah.
are going to die.
Well, I
Like
read
that.
some
No, but like, I don't
okay,
mean like in a, but just like that's the way it is. That's the reality on the earth. We are
yeah.
going to die.
But that's kind of led me to where I am
But
now.
it's not what we think.
I'm in a really good space right now. And I think being off a lot of the media helps. But I'm at the point now of like whatever's going to happen is going to happen. So whether, we have a solar
Hmm.
flash and the whole earth explodes, or we end up in these camps, or there's a polar shift, or everything gets fixed and we end up, living that blissful world that we're hoping that we're kind of, that's what I'm holding on to, that vision is we're moving to
Yeah.
a better world. But I'm like, even if the better world doesn't come and it's these other things that we have fear about, I can't myself can't change any of those big events, right? I may
You
be able to
can't.
influence how I respond or influence some people around me. I might be able to delay some things, but I
The
can't.
people you teach, the people that come to Pura Vida, all of us. That's a lot of people, and then they know people, and then they know people. That's all you
Yeah.
can do.
So that's what I've been
See,
focusing on.
it works, right?
But no, it's more of like, what if I've put myself at the end of each of those timelines, right? So I'm like, okay, there's going to be a solar flash. So what would I want? Where would I want to be? And what would I want to do before the solar flash? I'd want to make sure I'm having lots of fun right now. And then I'm with my family when it happens,
Yes.
right? And so then I'm like, am I doing that?
Yes.
Check. Okay. So let's go the camp scenario. So if that happens, am I going to be able to fight the people off? Maybe I might be able to run away for a little while. So maybe I want to have a little bug out bag or something like that. Okay, I'll do that. And then, but if I can't outrun them, then what do I want to make sure I have? I want to make sure I've got really good memories because that's all I'm going to have left is my memories when I'm in there. And I'd
Mm-hmm.
want to make sure that my family knows I love them, right? Because if we get
Yeah.
separated, then they know that, and there's no question in that. So am I doing that in this moment? Check, right? We're going to the new earth,
Yeah.
and everything's going to be good. Okay, so if I'm going in that direction, what role do I want to play in the new earth, and what kind of service do I want to offer to the world? Okay, so let's start focusing on that and building that. So if that
Yeah.
happens, I'm ready to go. Check, right? And everything else is a waste of time. Like me worrying about what's on the news and what's going to
Yeah.
happen just feels like a waste of time that's distracting me from doing those other things that are actually going to matter to me at the end of this timeline. Does that make sense?
That's right. It makes sense. It is still a bit scary because it's true. I get it. Like you,
Yeah.
fuck's
But it's
sakes, you're gonna have
necessary.
a bug out bag, but
I
you will
do.
survive when I won't. I'll be coming to your place because you'll know
Yeah.
what the fuck to go, what to do.
But see, but
But
that's
no, I don't
also
think there's
that's
anything.
the
I
life
think that if I had
that
small children, I would be doing the same thing. If I had small children, I'd be doing the same thing.
yeah.
I would
But
because we
then
don't know
also
what
if
the fuck's happening.
also
Everybody,
if that goes if everything goes to the shitter, right? It's not just going to be us here. I want to make sure we have enough so that we can invite those other people in our lives here too, right? And so
right?
what
Yeah,
would that what would that look like? I don't spend a lot of time dwelling on it because it's not putting me in the right position. Like I want to find that. Ooh, look at that! I want to find that future
yeah.
state. You have a whole new earth,
Woo!
right? I'm looking for that
Yeah.
new earth. That's where I'm going. So I'm putting all my energy into that new
Look
earth.
at your hand.
It looks weird.
That is craziness.
Yeah,
I
but
think that just doing what you're doing is like, I think it's important that you have a plan and that you execute, that you are able, that you can execute in the event of something, but it can't be your all
yeah,
consuming,
yeah,
right?
for sure.
And I have, I'm not a news person. I can't. I just
Mm-hmm,
can't. I'm
mm-hmm,
sick of seeing all these people getting hurt. The only thing I can do is try to help a few alcoholics not drink again so that they don't hurt other people in life. And maybe they will do it and blah blah blah. And it's kind of like that. With you, you're having a plan for this new world that could potentially, I mean, we are on the verge of a new world.
yeah.
Like we really really are. So this is crazy what's happening. I do not know why the fuck I incarnated at this time, but
I
whatever.
know.
I'm here.
I ask myself all
Shit.
the time, why am I here?
Like,
And they keep giving me like kind of three things to focus on right now, like to get to this new Earth vision. And I can see it pretty clearly, but is one, pour love, pour love, pour love, pour love. So whether that's into your land or your home or yourself or your family, just pour as much love
everything.
as you can, right? The second is they've said help as many people get out of fear as possible. So even if you don't get to joy,
Yes.
right? You don't have to be in joy, but get one level up so that you're like at neutral. If you can get to neutral,
Yeah.
then you have a hope of getting to joy. But when you're to go
It's
from
like
joy
working out a
to joy,
muscle.
yeah. So the more people we can help to do that, right? And that's like laughing and joking and seeing your friends and seeing
Oh.
that you love and
And
talking.
having fun with each other. Like, not like that, you perverts. I know there was some perverts on here before. Not fun like that, but fun. Like,
Yeah,
and enjoying each other and being able to, say how you feel without fucking walking on friggin' glass. Like, you're always worried
yeah,
about what that person is going to think, or
yeah.
you know your people when you're around your people. And I know my people. I refuse to be around anything that's going to be toxic. And that includes in my business. If somebody's toxic, you know what? You can go directly with the supplier. Bye.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing it because you know what? I value myself and I value my business. I value my friendships, my animals, my home, my husband. None of us are perfect. And some of us are going to, especially now, play over in our heads the doom and gloom. I'm a fucking king at that. Honestly.
Oh, me
I
too.
literally will stew and stew to the point where my heart feels like it's going to explode in my chest. And the
Yeah.
only thing I want to do back in the day was get drunk. That's what would make it stop. A lot of psychics are drunks. I'm sorry I said it, but they
It's
are.
almost like
And
a
chocolate. And if you're not alcohol, then it's chocolate. Like,
yeah,
so
it really
it
is.
is what it is, right? So it's the emotional, it's moving through the emotion and then handling the situation, knowing that, because emotions are going to make us handle it badly. So if you're in the
Yes.
middle of writing your list and you're like feeling sick, stop,
Yeah.
stop,
And I think too,
stop.
like a big part
Because,
of that is feeling stuck. A lot of people right now keep saying, I just feel stuck. I feel stuck. And it's this idea of being stuck in this system, this old way of thinking, right? Which is the third thing that I keep being asked to do is like, let's get as many people unstuck as possible. And if we can start to move into that more quantum 5D space of things where there isn't a linear time. Like right now we view time as 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, da 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 da. And that's how we
there
live our life,
isn't. The soul is staying the same.
right? It's like we think we have to fix our problems. It's going to be one step, then the second step. Like if we get rid of the masks and then we get our business open again and then we do this, it's going to work. But I think that old way of thinking is actually what's keeping us stuck. And so that's why, I
Yeah.
talk about time and we see time as like if we look at a clock, right? It's on a wheel, so it keeps turning. But
Yep.
I've been visualizing time as more of like a sphere, like a ball, as opposed to it going in a
Yeah.
circle and loops, is that all of the time is there in that ball and you're in the very center of it. And so, and not just time, but everything in our life is that this idea that we need one step and then the second step sometimes holds us back, right? Because we're like, I'm missing the first step. I know I need to do
Yeah.
this third step, but I don't know what to do beforehand. Where maybe if we just sat with that third step and started doing whatever it was we could do, or maybe even we don't know how to do that third step yet, but we know that we can, paint, or we can go for a walk, or we can create something else, or we can research something else, or we can learn something else. And by doing those things that seem unrelated, it gets that creative
Hmm.
energy flowing again so that we can actually get back into the center of that ball and pull the whole idea down, pull the whole solution down
Yeah.
at once, as opposed to thinking we
Yep.
need this drip, drip, drip that we're being given. And
We
and that's kind of
don't.
my philosophy of like, yeah, I see what's going on in the world. I don't consent to that world. I don't consent to it. I'm just gonna start building my own. And as many people as
Yes.
we can get that are like, I'm just gonna start building my own too, then soon we
Yep.
have our world, right?
And that's the
And
thing. It's so funny
our
because
own
you kept
world.
saying step three. You kept saying step three throughout you talking.
Mm-hmm.
And step three is, you know, I got to remember them in unison. I don't know all of them, but basically what I got from what you're saying is that, you can't do one step without doing the next. Or
Mm-hmm.
you have to go in order and stop trying to like go ahead or go back. Like just keep moving forward, but doing one thing at a time
Yeah.
instead of overwhelming. Because psychics in general are very like we're basket cases. We have
To say the
a
least.
lot of people, a lot of voices, a lot of things happening all at once in our minds all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And human beings in general are all psychics, just so you know. You
Mm-hmm.
all got it. It's just a matter of whether or not I had no idea I had it until I met you.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of knew, but I didn't know. You know what I mean? Like I had to have somebody else crazy tell me I'm crazy, but in a good way. And that worked for me.
Yeah.
So I'm not as afraid of my abilities anymore.
But this is,
But
I love this
I'm,
example because I've been thinking about
yeah,
this week too, right? Of like, also in trying to figure out like my business, I got to figure out what I'm doing with my business if we're allowed to reopen in
I have
fall
no idea.
blah, masks and blah blah. So, what are we going to do there? And I keep thinking about, over the years, I've had like you and I've had people that have worked with me who have all become psychic. And I've never taught any of you like, here's step 1, here's step 2, here's step 3, do this and
No,
psychic, right? We've really
no.
just not really even talked about it. It's just something that's happened, right? And so
It's
this is
happened.
this is my vision for the quantum way of doing business. Okay, this is the 5D New Earth way of
Yes.
is
Look at you.
we need to let go. I know it's just coming in. We
Yep.
need to let go of like, I have to do step 1, step 2, step 3. I have to find a teacher. I need to find X, Y, and Z and do all these little things. And instead, just allow ourselves to experience and to notice and to receive. And when an idea comes in, okay, I'm going to run with that idea. I don't know what it's going to look
Yep.
like at the end, right? Like, I started making jewelry back in like November and December because I heard like, you got a bunch of beads, you might as well do something with them. And
Yeah.
and it turned
But
into
that's creative and that helps you too.
it gave me some more clarity, right? I wasn't trying to create a jewelry business. I wasn't trying to create that. I was just like, I need something to keep my hands busy because I got all these thoughts coming in and I'm worrying about, we're going to be in, how long is this next shutdown going to be? But in that process of making
You
it,
get so many thoughts, don't you? So
I do.
many.
But in the process of making it, right, I ended up making a new product that ended up selling out in my little online boutique, but it gave me the space because my hands were busy to receive the next thing to do. Of They kept saying, okay, so now we're gonna let go of this, let go of that, and your next focus is just focus on this next step that we're giving you. And don't worry if you don't see the whole picture, or maybe you do see the whole picture and you don't see the step, right?
But
It's
just
about
do the step first.
trusting, I think. Yeah, do the step, but don't do the step. It's about trusting what it is that you carry and the energy that you carry. Because if we can have this effect on other people without doing anything at all, when we actually put action into something, we're going to create even more. And if we're not creating, right, the polarity of creating is destructing. And destruction isn't a bad thing because sometimes, trees need to die so new trees can grow up. So, we might be moving through this process of, I'm in a little bit of a destruction phase, and that's okay. Now I'm
I was
starting
in
to
a lot of a
realize,
destruction phase.
you know, I've had to say that to myself consciously of like, okay, you're in a destruction phase of your business world right now. Um, and then when I get bored of the destruction, right? But only when I get bored of it will I then start to create again. And it's got to be that organic, what do I want to do today? And that's what I do every day. I wake
Yep.
up and I'm like, what do I want to do today? I really want to talk to Cara today. So let's talk to Cara today. You know?
Oh, I love that's what I do. I try to like, oh, I found step 3. I just got nervous, so I forgot. I suck at that stuff. I've done the steps so many times, like it's not even funny. But it's set. The step 3 is made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God or the universe as we understood him or her.
Love it. See, this is the
Isn't that
quantum
crazy?
working in
Isn't
action,
that weird?
right?
So you
Why do you
just,
guys say step 3 all the time?
I know.
That's why.
Yeah,
That's why.
that's why. You've got to turn your will and your life over. You got to stop trying to control. And that's what this pandemic is teaching everybody. That guess what? Just because the government, who are also people, are saying to you, oh, it's only 2 weeks. Well, guess what? It's not fucking 2 weeks. It's now 2021 and it's February. And, and like, I mean, I have another 3 months of the Caribbean being closed, shut down altogether. So, I have no control. You have no control. But
Mm-hmm.
we have control over what we do with ourselves. Like you said, in the morning, what is my plan today? Oh,
Yeah.
well, I want to like make a cake. That
Mm-hmm.
sounds so good right now. Make a cake, or I want to do this, or I want to do that. Like, take advantage of the pandemic, man. Like, fucking just
Mm-hmm.
like, that's what I've been doing. You know,
And see
I
where it leads.
try and see
Go
where it
ahead.
leads because this might be a new career for me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Or it might be the same career, but different. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And even if there is no career, to be honest with you, I don't even care anymore. It sounds terrible to say that. It's not that I don't care about my business. I do. But what the fuck am I supposed to do about this?
Yeah.
I can just be there for my customers, the ones that have always been there with me and I've been there for them. And throughout this, I'm going to help them until they're done. And that's it.
Mhm.
If I don't stay in this, that's okay. But I'm going to stay because I committed to them. That's it.
Yeah.
I go on my treadmill, which is right behind me, in a very abrasive, shitty spot because it's the only place in the house because my house is so small. And I
Mhm.
get on there and I run. Or I will go and I will do my yoga and my weights.
Mhm.
Or I will go for a walk, snowshoe. Shell has been trying to snowshoe with me for 2 weeks. And she just, I don't know how she puts up with me. I really don't. Because I change my mind because it's too cold. But, anyways, it doesn't matter. Like, today is just a brand new day. Every day is brand new. And the fact that we get to live in these unbelievably adorable biological machines
Mhm.
that
We are
basically
lucky.
hold our soul, that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like, who in the world ever gets that?
Yeah.
Except for all of us in the world right now. And we bitch about it.
Mhm.
Like, oh my God, poor me. You're fucking alive.
Yeah. Well,
You're alive.
there's so much we can still do and explore, right? And that's
Like,
like even how when like in 2019 I went to Scotland and I just did a whole series with my
oh
friends
God.
Scotland. But I've been playing with the energy there because when I was at the fairy pools, remember the water had said to me, I'm sending
Yes.
water back home. So I've been working on pulling that energy and just working with that energy. And the about 2 or 3 weeks ago, the girls and I were outside, and I saw literally like this golden rainbow come through the sky and land into the earth. And they're like, that was the final step. Oh, I know it was. We were playing bagpipe music outside and we were dancing.
Oh.
And they were like, that was the final step
Bagpipes are beautiful.
to pull that energy in. And then last night, I was just thinking about this last night because I really like the words, right, and spelling, and I'm trying to understand all that. And I was thinking about where we live, severed bridge, right? And I keep talking about how we need to build this bridge to the 5D, and we need to build our bridge. And I was thinking about that word just over and over again in my head, and I heard that was the bridge that came in. It was bridging that energy from the other side of the planet to bring it
That would
here.
have. I love Severn Bridge. I love where we live. I do. I have a difficult time wanting, like, because we've been wanting to move because of our, the house is small and I've got dog. But it's like not about that. It's about
Mm-hmm.
the energy. I felt like the trees. Like, I remember being out there in the summer and looking around, and I was on my front porch, and I could feel like this is when I was going to the studio,
Yeah.
whenever we had the yoga classes, and I sat outside, and this was completely sober, guys. Like, still, remember
Too
that.
much for that.
Fuck. Yeah, I was out there, and I literally could hear like, I could hear in my mind, um, dragonflies and butterflies and the trees, them all telling me not to leave. Please don't leave. Please don't leave. And I thought, like, is this like residual from like my party days or what the fuck is going on?
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? It was the land. They did not want me to leave.
Mm-hmm.
It was not my time.
Yeah.
So I just really love the fact that, you know what, I don't second guess myself now. Because for years, I think we've all been told, oh, you're just crazy, take some medication. By the way, I'm on medication and it works well. So I'm a little chubbier than normal, but it works well.
You're beautiful.
For me, I needed it. For me, I needed it, right? So, anyways, but that's not the only thing that I needed. I
Mm-hmm.
needed a spiritual awakening. I needed to be connected to body, mind, and soul. I needed all of those things. And I find that, like, Severn Bridge has been that place for me. Like, the
Mm-hmm.
moment I found out that my mom betrayed me, I remember I ran out into the field and I started to meditate on a rock out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like every time I walk by there, that the energy of the forest is just loving me.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that when I walk out there, I'm not going to get attacked by a wolf. I'm not going to get attacked. You've been on the field with me. It is like
Mm-hmm.
absolutely, you can feel the loving energy of that field. And there's a lot of dead people there.
Yeah, there is.
A
It's like
lot of dead people.
an airport of dead
It's
people.
because Kevin and I are both gifted, so it tends to be where, but they don't come past the line in my house. So somebody who lived here before, I think you told me this, must have done a circle around the house,
Mhm.
or somebody who knew I was psychic did it behind my back.
Mhm.
Her. So whatever the case may be, but it's like a very beautiful place, and I love the fact that, like, look at my pets.
Mhm.
That is my blind Sheltie.
Mhm.
She's blind, and yet she even feels safe out there. She was safe out there. Do you know she was found in Kilworthy underneath a church? And her name is Angel, and she was found by a girl named Angela.
Wow.
All in Severn Bridge area, right?
Yeah.
So that's
Have you
just like
heard of
I was.
have you heard of the land between? You should look it up. Google the land or DuckDuckGo or whatever. The land
Duck duck
between.
go.
Yeah, it's a new browser. It's a little better. And the land between is a like nonprofit organization that's done research on what's unique about this particular area, and they have a DVD that explains some of the history here as well. And in that history, they actually have writings of some of the first settlers in this area talking about a unique energy here in the rock and sensing the spiritual nature of this place. And part of what drew me to this area as well is that like when you meet a lot of the locals, us locals, um, a lot of people are really intuitive in this area. If you haven't noticed,
Yes,
right? Like there's a
yes.
lot of people, and for a very small area, there's a lot of people. Um, and I
All
think
in the same vicinity.
yeah, and I think it has something to do with the rocks and the land for sure because they feel very
We could
alive.
make this a psychic town. Oh my
No,
God, the religious
I've
people
seen
would
it.
just love
Honestly,
this.
I've seen that since I've moved here. I've seen it. I even know like they've shown me a town in Costa Rica that were very parallel in terms of what it would look like if our
Yeah,
community were to go down that route. So I've seen that for
yeah.
years. We haven't actually moved forward with it, but we totally
I
could.
would love to have a wildlife sanctuary here in Severn Bridge. That would be really
Mhm.
cool.
Well, there are
I would
some.
run it.
There's some for the birds already. There are some sanctuaries, and there used to be a really big one in this area, but
There
it's
used
been
to be one, and they had a
yeah,
bear and a cougar that were friends. I'll
yeah,
never forget that. When I first saw that, I was like, "Is this for real? Is this
yeah.
fence thick enough?
But it's
Is
really
it
cool
gonna come
because
out in Evie?"
I know like a lot like same for me as well is the forest will often say even like they'll even use the words like don't worry, we're protecting you. You're safe. We're protecting you.
Yeah,
Like
I totally feel safe.
yeah.
The bear
It's very
even that came into your studio, remember? The little
yeah.
baby bear?
I know we've had the
Oh
bear
my
since
god.
and
And then
like you were there. It wasn't a scary. I mean, it was a surprising thing, but it wasn't a scary
wow,
thing.
Lindsay is hilarious. Lindsay's was hilarious. I will never forget that. I thought you guys were totally fucking shitting me. And then all of a sudden she's walking with a deer, and it wasn't even like a small deer. Like it looked like
A
a like
massive deer.
what the fuck? And she even was shocked.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And she was
Well,
teaching yoga, wasn't she? That
yeah. She was
day?
coming in. She was coming in to teach yoga. Yeah,
Oh my
it's
god.
pretty amazing.
That's crazy. So yeah, the energy here, I always feel very safe, and
Mhm.
I know my dogs are safe, and I think I just choose to focus in. I have my tarot cards and my angel cards and everything that I keep. That I pick a card every day, every
Mhm.
day. Well, not every day. It depends on whether I'm being told to take a card,
Yeah.
and they're usually very relevant. So, but I also have, what do I have with it that it's like a way of protecting it? I can't remember what I was going to say. Ugh, I can't remember. I guess that's all they wanted me to tell you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've been talking for almost 2 hours. Our time just
Yeah,
like
I think I have to
flies.
pee.
Yeah, I probably
Yeah,
too.
I
So
have to
maybe
pee.
end it there. I
We
mean,
don't want me to sneeze or cough because then it will come out.
that's right. That's right.
Kegels!
We'll leave it
Uh,
on that. We'll leave it on that note today, Cara. Um,
Kegels.
so
Don't
I hope
forget.
if you happen to land here and you've actually watched this all the way to the end, good on you.
You're crazy.
And hopefully you had a few laughs today with us. I'm disappointed to do this again, Cara, because we put it
We
aside
could
here,
do it.
but we should do it.
Yeah, it keeps connected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
So I
right.
will see you next week.
Sounds good.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, my only other person watching who's also part of the